Good morning, everybody. This is Steve from the Worley Bugger. It is October 26th, 2022. Standing here on the banks of the Yakima River. Give your last fly fishing report for the month of October. So it's finally starting to look like fall here. But yeah, as you can see, the trees are still pretty green. Moving a little bit today, got a little bit of wind here. But not too bad. Still with all these leaves on the trees, you get lots of cover from the famous Ellensburg, Kittitas Valley winds. But very, very unusually warm September and October. I've been here 30 years and don't ever remember 80-degree days in October. Made the fishing somewhat erratic. Some days really, really good if we had cloud cover. Other days the afternoons were a bit slower. The water is so low and clear. This big bright sun here, see that? Shines right on the water. The fish get pretty spooky, you know, until mid-afternoon. Once that sun's not right directly on the water, then they start eating pretty good again. So it's not really, really hard to figure out, you know, as we come to, you know, kind of the end of our 2022 season, what the fish are really keyed in on and eating. Two things: one, bluewing olives and October caddis. Those are the last two aquatic insect hatches of the year, really, that we have. You might see some sparse mayflies, mahogany duns and light cahills kind of mixed in a little bit, but nothing that Yakima trout would rather eat than a blue-wing olive mayfly, so keep that in mind. Good to have the adults, cripples, emergers, of course the nymphs, you know, early on. Fish are kind of transitioning now that it's, you know, starting to get colder. We've seen the temperatures really drop, especially in the upper county. You know, they have had nights there well below the freezing mark. So fish will transition, start moving around quite a bit and into different water types. Really start getting focused on in the afternoons on those blue wings. Everybody loves the October caddis fishing. It's okay, it's good in places, and it'll get better here as we progress into the first weeks of November. So, you know, our typical Novembers the last 6-7 years have been extremely warm. I would be very surprised if we didn't see that again. We have gotten some snow, you know, high elevations, which is great. That early snow up there. So we got water for next year. And Idaho, you know, saw extreme drought this summer, late summer and fall, you know, so fish need water, so we like to have the snow in the mountains for sure. Last week's video, Aaron touched on salmon in the Yakima. So the tribe has been busy the last 15-16 years or so reintroducing salmon back to the river, so and the watersheds. Oh, there's a trout just rose way over there in the foam line. I'm starting to eat here in the morning. Sorry, I get distracted very easily. But we now have spring chinook, coho, and sockeye all spawning in the upper watershed of the Yakima. So very, very important that we respect the salmon spawning ground. So whether you're out wade fishing or fishing from a boat, make sure that you're not stomping all over the reds. This will not fare well for future fishing on the Yakima. Remember, there's been rivers around us that have been closed for 35 years to fishing, so don't think it could happen on the Yakima. Yeah, well, I think again, but to keep our fishery intact. The salmon are an important part of the ecosystem here, the biomass for the trout. That's why we're seeing such a healthy river now. The reintroduction of salmon and that biomass injected into the river has made it all around healthier, more bugs, more food for the trout, eggs, flesh, and of course the small salmon. Trout and the other species of fish in the river are going to feast on that. So, as well as just nourishing the river, you know, more aquatic bugs into the system. So more bugs means more food for the fish to eat. The river's in great shape. We expect it to continue to fish really well through November. Plenty of fishing to be had, so don't put your gear away yet. We have coho just now starting to enter the system. So warm in October, the fish were really just stacked out in the Columbia, waiting for it to cool down. And now that it's cooled down, you can look at the dam counts over Bonneville and see that, you know, there's thousands of fish starting to enter the Columbia system. So those will start coming into the Yakima, and we'll have cohos in the Yakima through the month of November. And again, they will be spawning mainly through the farmlands area of the river. So if you're fishing there, again, don't disturb the reds by walking on them or anchoring over them. The basin lakes are starting to fish really well too. The damselfly fishing the last 3 weeks on the desert lakes has been very, very good. And so the damselfly fishing over there has been crazy. But now it's starting to turn. There's been some mayflies, chironomids. Lakes have been fishing really well. Most of the lakes will stay open until the end of November, so still plenty of fishing there to be had. Still pretty bleak reports coming from Rocky Ford, so I don't know that I would tell you to, you know, to go there and waste your time, you know, driving by the Yakima and driving by several of the, you know, lakes. That Rocky Ford is even worth a look at. If you haven't been there before, I guess you could go there, kind of establish your own opinion, but the reports coming from there haven't been good. Low water, very weedy. Major pelican problem there. So again, kind of sad. Fly fishing only and very, very poorly managed. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to give us a jingle at the Pro Shop. Happy to help. We're keeping the shop supplied the best that we can. Even our industry is experiencing supply issues, but we're trying to stay up on top of it and keep the shop well stocked. So give us a call if you need something. Happy to send it out to you. Alrighty? Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing.